The NBA's a league with a mission. After one of the best generations in history, if not the best,
is this the dagger?
The league is in the midst of a talent search to find the new faces to represent the association. Unfortunately, this search hasn't been so fruitful. Guards like Donovan Mitchell or Devin Booker started making waves early on, but it seems they may not have been able to make the leap to the top of the elite. The NBA needs replacements at all positions urgently to continue its expansion of worldwide influence. However, there is one young guard who seems different from the rest. In the era of wings and centers in which the NBA is submerged, there's one last hope. Not just for players of his position, but for all Americans who are beginning to see the league's best players being international.
And they force the turnover. Edwards. Yeah!
Anthony Edwards is a truly special player. His mentality, coupled with his skill set, has made him a fan favorite, but beyond becoming a superstar of the league, something that seems obvious when you watch him play, Ant has a chance to achieve something much bigger. Something that barely a few players in the entire history of the league have achieved. So let's talk about it. His charisma. If there's any reason why most fans have fallen in love with his game, it's because of his personality. Well, by now we've all heard the comparisons to Michael Jordan. Certainly, his style of play can resemble an adaptation of MJ to the modern NBA in a way similar to Kawhi Leonard's game. But what Mike and Ant are most similar in is their arrogance, in their ego, in knowing they're the best player on the court and wanting to prove it to those who think that are themselves. Edwards is mean to his opponents. He doesn't want to win. He wants to humiliate his defenders. He wants to prove his superiority on every play, every action, every loose ball.
Edwards. Driving by Beal. Oh, the hammer!
In an era when fans have classified the new generation as kinda soft,
What is LeBron looking for?
a star's emerged who doesn't care about the legacy of the person in front of him. Anthony's a player who accurately represents the personality of one of today's urban culture meccas. His hometown Atlanta made him that way. Admittedly, we've seen players with similar personalities in the modern NBA. Patrick Beverley, Draymond Green, players who don't care who's in front of them. But none of them have Ant's talent. That's exactly what makes him a unique prospect. During his short career so far, Edwards has shown a progression that not only meets the expectations of a first overall draft pick, but exceeds them. With averages of 25.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 5.1 assists per game, the guard has become the clear first offensive option of the team that finished third in the West, and he's still just 22 years old. That is what's really scary. Because, let's be honest here, the Minnesota Timberwolves were one of the most dysfunctional franchises in recent league history. I know this isn't nice to hear if you're a mini fan, but come on, one playoff win in 17 years, a single game in 17 years. Prior to the arrival of Edwards and Chris Finch, the Wolves were in a terrible situation. In a bottomless pit that seemed to be getting deeper and deeper. Continuous failures that only had a small oasis during Jimmy Butler's brief but intense tenure. In fact, Finch, who's done an incredible job, is only the second coach in Timberwolves history to have a positive record, along with Flip Saunders. But it's completely unbelievable how the arrival of one coach and one player have completely changed the course of a cursed franchise. True, the Rudy Gobert trade, in retrospect, was a stroke of genius that Tim Conley pulled out of his sleeve 2 weeks after taking over as president of basketball operations. But the ability Anthony Edwards has had to lead the team through an unprecedented breakout season in mini is just incredible. When a young player not only delivers an immediate performance, but also makes his team win, that's when we're talking about a potentially generational player.
Pacers have a chance. Up ahead, Neesmith. Blocked! Edwards getting up!
Plus, in his case, it was still an even more difficult mission. In 2015, the Timberwolves were lucky enough to have the first pick in the draft, which they used on Karl-Anthony Towns. After his outstanding rookie season, everyone thought he was going to be the leader of mini for the next decade. However, in just 3 seasons, Anthony's taken over the team. Cat's been key in the great season they've had, but he's still a player whose role seems to be enhanced as a second offensive option. Edwards showed from the beginning his ambition to be the first. And that hierarchy is well clear among the players present in the team's locker room. For better or for worse, Anthony's going to be responsible for the team's performance during the playoffs.
He the face of the league. I've been saying that. He hate when I say it, but it's true. Like I said, Future's so bright, I gotta put the sunglasses on most of the time when I'm walking around with him.
Now, at the beginning of the video, I said that Ant had the opportunity to do something much more important than dominate the NBA, right? Well, that opportunity is not one that many players have. We're in the age of pace and space, and that's bringing a lot of changes to the game. Earlier, we talked about how the league had become a league of wings and centers. Think about the last 6 MVPs, won by Giannis, Nickeil Jokic, and Joel Embiid.
Kia NBA MVP.
But what we haven't talked about is the decreasing importance that guards are having in the NBA. Assuming that the point guard role could be considered almost extinct, with teams using combo guards as their primary ball handlers, there's less and less volume of guards with potential in the league. In an era where every inch counts and where traditionally shorter players are getting bigger, there's a new contender for the throne. Anthony Edwards, along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, have a chance to make guards great again. Both with very unique and distinctive styles, their rise to the elite is proving to be truly meteoric. While the window to become a generational player for the likes of Donovan Mitchell or Devin Booker is getting smaller and smaller, this new pair of guards that's put their teams in the top 3 spots in the West is threatening to take it all by storm.
Probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down!
But the truth is that, in our generation, there aren't as many triple threat scorers capable of creating their shot the way Ant does, nor are there so many players capable of elevating their team with such a great usage. Yeah, Anthony Edwards has been the 4th player in the entire NBA with the highest usage percentage this season, behind only Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Shai himself. Not only as one of the NBA spokespersons around the world, Anthony Edwards has a chance to become Team USA's flagship player for the next decade. His performance in the last World Cup, in which he led a very young team, showed his willingness to take over even the world's elite. Averaging 18.9 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.8 assists, Ant was the team's best player and has earned a spot on the Redeem Team. The American basketball program is clear about the importance and capabilities of the Timberwolves guard, and under no circumstances will they leave him off the team on such a big stage, despite the fact that there are stars with renown and trajectory that have to be left out for this reason. The Olympics in France will be his chance to prove his involvement in one of the most talented rosters ever assembled. In 10 years, the NBA is going to look very different. Victor Wembanyama is already showing us that the NBA has a lot of potential to evolve, and that there are still playstyles that we've never seen before. Edwards' game, however, seems to be going against the clock. In a way, it seems that the guard, like Shai, has a style from another era, and it's one from the past. His ability to shoot from mid-range has been enhanced this year, as this scoring method has been much more common in his bag this year. Like Mike, like Kobe, his footwork allows him to dominate with moves that are less and less seen in the league.
Game here in the Twin Cities. Look at the moves by Edwards. Swashbuckling!
His ability to attack the low post is also reminiscent of these players. A skill that, while not as common in his arsenal, he will continue to use more and more as time goes by, as all the best scorers have been able to master. Despite Ant bringing back an old-school game, he's more on the forefront than many of the stars that populate the NBA today.